Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new crossover video with Connie X. So he and Brandon once again team up to take Digimon and Pokemon and mix them together. And today we're gonna watch as they take the original Adventure Digimon, Series 1 Digimon, and give them both types and abilities fitting them. Let's hop in and see who gets the evolution. Nope, that was not a good line. Let's just go.
It's Pokemon Day in a couple of days, and then Digimon Con the week after. So glad they didn't put Digimon Con on Pokemon Day this year. Yeah. Glad they learned their lesson. And you know I love talking about both the monster franchises dear to my heart. One day I'll get to talk about Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts too. But in celebration of the best time of the year for monster fans, let's work with my favourite PokeTuber to work out what Pokemon types, abilities, and signature moves the Digimon Adventure
I've actually really grown to like how these two work together perfectly.
Cast would have.
No snarky intro? Just something nice?
Of course, Brandon. I only ever want to do Pokemon Digimon crossovers with you.
Aw, that's so sweet. And over on my channel, we'll be doing Pokemon biomerges, essentially exploring what it might look like if trainers fused with their Pokemon.
Bangarang. Let's get to it.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
What is up, digital companions? My name is Connie X, and welcome back to PokeDigis. Are you excited for Pokemon Day? You excited for Digimon Con? Let me know! This video was made possible thanks to my sovereign level patrons, Jamon and Dogukan. Patreon.com/ConnieX is where all the cool kids are. You could be there too! So we begin with Agumon, and he to me very much feels like a starter Pokemon equivalent. Hell, basically all rookies do. And as such, I want them to feel powerful, but not overly powerful as a basic stage. The temptation...
This is probably why you're not going to give him like Dragon type, even though you were saying that on a thumbnail. Though it's kind of obvious though, if you give him Dragon type as a starter, he'd be overly powerful.
Was to make Agumon a Fire Dragon type to match its Pepper Flame and Dinosaur elements. As there's no actual dinosaur type in Pokemon...
You know what? Hold on everyone, I want to go back and try something real quick. I'm gonna finally bring... Hold on. There we go. I was gonna say I'm gonna finally return my camera to the top corner where it needs to be. Yeah, so here we go. Let's return. That's what I meant to say.
And often in Japan, dinosaurs and dragons are seen as the same thing, or very similar at least. So I think it's better to start Agumon as a fire type. Its ability will be the standard fire starter ability Blaze, which powers up fire type moves in a pinch, and its signature move will be Ember, which to me is the closest to the Pepper or Baby Flame, and Ember is common among fire Pokemon starters, just like Agumon would probably be. For its evolution Greymon, I was somewhat tempted to make it a fire rock type, given its headpiece, but I decided to just stick with fire like Agumon, as that's still the most dominant element aside from the dinosaur. It will also have Blaze, and its signature move will be Flame Charge as a nod to the Nova Blast and Great Antler, Greymon's actual Digimon moves. When digivolving to Metal Greymon, it obviously has to gain the Steel typing. I was debating changing it completely to Dragon Steel as it has wings now, and the fire element is a little bit more downplayed with Metal Greymon, but I think it works best to keep it Fire Steel, keeping the line a little bit more cohesive, which might not be the case going forward for all of these lines, and making it the second ever Fire Steel type after Heatran. And if Charizard isn't a dragon, I think it's okay that Metal Greymon isn't one either. It will have the ability Full Metal Body, which prevents other Pokemon from lowering its stats, because, you know, it has a metal body. And in connection with that, its signature...
Well, it at least has metal bits. I mean, it's got that metal thing covering its head, and some metal bits under the tail, and a complete metal chest and all, but other than that, it's still fleshy. Presumably.
The move is Metal Claw. That brings us to War Greymon. Again, I was conflicted on giving it the Dragon typing. Its claws are Dramon killers after all, which might make it feel a little bit weird to make it a Dragon type. However, given Dragon type is effective against Dragon type, that feels more thematically accurate. So I am going to make War Greymon a Dragon Steel type, as it would make him effective against Dragon types, but mitigate him being weak to Dragon with its secondary Steel typing, causing Dragon moves to only inflict normal damage on War Greymon. Its abilities will be Blaze and Solar Power because of its Gaia Force, and the Pyro Ball that normally is kicked by Cinderace instead would be thrown like a basketball by War Greymon.
Wait, am I the mat to your tie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what the hell, man?
Shut up.
Okay. So Gabumon is more interesting. Its line having a connection to Ice and Foxfire, it doesn't actually fit into conventional Pokemon start.
And a bit of lightning, thanks to the second series.
Boxes. Instead, we approach it more so like a Poochyena, Lillipup, or even Absol, kinda. So Gabumon is going to be normal type. It has the potential to be dark or ice, but as a rookie, that's just a normal little guy right there. Its main ability would obviously be Fur Coat, that reduces the damage from physical moves. Gabumon's main thing is that it's a little reptile wearing the fur coat of a Garurumon. And in keeping with its horn, its signature move would be Horn Attack. Its evolution Garurumon very much feels in the wheelhouse of Mightyena, as well as Zoroark, Absol, and others, which is why we've gone with the Fire Dark type. Remember, these are Digimon, and so while we're giving them Pokemon conventions, their very nature means that these things are going to be a bit more unconventional. Garurumon's signature Foxfire or Blue Blaster is a blue flame that could do cold damage, could do fire damage, but it's just easier to settle on Fire Dark for Garurumon, especially with the Dark type feeling appropriate with Garurumon and where Garurumon's moon theming. Its ability will match Mightyena, Intimidate, which lowers the foe's attack stat, and we had to make its signature move Will-O-Wisp, a ghostly flame attack that is often depicted as blue, just like Foxfire, where Garurumon extrapolates on that moon connection. It's literally a werewolf. Someone call Taylor Lautner. But it becomes a punk brawler. All that together makes an easy fighting Dark type, cementing its place among Pokemon like Pangoro and Scrafty as street brawlers. Its ability is Hustle, which boosts its attack stat but lowers accuracy, as where Garurumon feels like a hustler and his signature move is Dynamic Punch. Metal Garurumon proved tricky. We wanted to preserve the Dark typing inherited from Garurumon and Were-Garurumon, but the fact of the matter is that this Digimon's two standout traits are being Metal Garurumon and its Ice association. So while it does lose both its typings, it becomes an Ice-Steel type, the first of its kind since Alolan Sandshrew and Sandslash, making it potentially weak to Wargreymon's Pyro Ball, but leaving it as a good all-rounder. Its ability will be Ice Body, that lets a Pokemon gradually regain HP in a hailstorm, and its signature attack will be Frost Breath, to align with Metal Garurumon's existing Cocytus Breath attack.
Cock breath.
What did you call me?
No, wait, I'm sorry.
Hey, what about Omnimon?
Oh yeah, a difficult one, isn't it? It's like half Wargreymon, half Metal Garurumon, so it'd be 10.
Now, hold on. In this completely fictional world, how would you actually even set up an Omnimon? Like, I have no idea how you actually could. I mean, the other was You know what? I'm not even sure. Look, even I don't know. It says Omnimon question mark down here.
Tempting to just make it a fire ice type, but then steel is kind of a huge part of it.
It's also not sort of light enough, for lack of a better word, to be the fairy type.
Maybe we just make it a fire ice type that also has a perpetual stellar terra type too, maybe?
Sure. And why don't you guys in the comments sound off about what you think Omnimon's type should be?
Alright, let's move over to Beomon. Beomon, I guess, would be most similar to your early root birds. Your Pidgeys, your Hootoots, your Piddoves. Beomon to me is a natural flying type. There's a temptation to go flying normal like some other early root birds, but I think pure flying type is appropriate. Her ability will be Aerialate, which turns normal type moves into flying type.
Wait, no, I think I got what I could do for Omnimon. He's a fire ice type, but he has the steel terra type.
Moves making her an all-round flying type, and her signature move Razor Wind I think is pretty similar to Beomon's actual attack. This is where Digivolution gets fun because the pure flying type Beomon digivolves to Birdramon, which has to be a fire flying type. I mean, look at it. I will also give it the ability Flame Body, which causes contact with the Pokemon to burn the attacker, and the signature move Meteor Assault or Flame Burst to reference Birdramon's Meteor Wing. It having Flame Body is also pretty fun because it could hatch Digi-Eggs faster, which might be useful if, say, Angemon turned back into a Digi-Egg or something. Then into Garudamon, Birdраmon's flames are extinguished, which is why I struggle to make Garudamon a fire type still. It does have fire-based moves, but it's not the most overtly fire type Digimon, instead focusing on its fists, which is why I'm making it a fighting flying type. Its ability will be Delta Stream that creates strong winds when the ability activates, just feels like it works for Garudamon, and the signature move Oblivion Wing is incredibly similar sounding to Garudamon's move Shadow Wing. And the line ends on Phoenixmon, and I think it will regain its fire typing. Again, this would be pretty unconventional for Pokemon, but these are Digimon. And I'm going to give it Perish Body as an ability, which means that when hit by a move that makes direct contact, the Pokemon and the attacker will faint after 3 turns unless they switch out of battle. This to me is probably the closest Pokemon ability that matches the concept of the Phoenix, sort of. There's no Pokemon ability that, like, when you die, you instantly get revived or something. That would be a good...
Well, yeah, there's no ability actually like that, but I think Brandon, in one of his videos, actually kind of created something along that line. I don't exactly remember which video it was, but I think it was when that Pokemon fainted, all the others in the party were revived or something. I don't
Good ability
really
though,
remember.
probably a bit OP. Then I'm going to give it the signature move, the OP Fire-type starter final move, Blast Burn.
Alright, we're back in familiar territory with Gomamon. It's aquatic and also mammalian, so it could easily be a water starter. And in keeping with the starter Pokemon, it's getting the ability Torrent, which powers up water-type moves in a
Only
pinch.
needed one
Schooling
more.
was also a tempting ability, but Gomamon doesn't change form with its marching fishes, so Wishy-Washy's ability doesn't fit here, despite the School of Fish thing. And for a signature move, sadly there's no Pokemon move that summons a horde of fish to attack, so we're just gonna go with Brine. Ikakumon ups the ante a little bit, coating Gomamon in white fur, which makes it feel a little bit closer to Pokemon like Walrein. And so
Okay.
Ikakumon becoming the water ice type
Ice
seems
type,
appropriate,
yep.
as he kind of resembles a walrus. This also means it having thick fat, which ups resistance to fire and
Well,
ice.
yeah, it does look like a walrus if you took a woolly mammoth and crossbred with a walrus.
Type moves, and is very
Walrus.
appropriate for this
Damn,
chunky
I can't
boy.
say
It'll
that.
master Horn Drill, as that move is probably the closest to Harpoon Torpedo and is a perennial favorite of another horned water type, Seaking. Its evolution makes things
nice.
interesting. Zudomon brandishes Thor's hammer, lending itself very well to the electric
Mjolnir?
water type, joining Rotom Wash and
Okay,
the
that's
flipped
cool.
version of Chincho and Lantern. A fun ability for Zudomon could be Snow Warning, in which the Pokemon summons a hailstorm in battle, literally acting as a warning to its opponent that Zudomon is about to Digivolve into Vikemon. Sadly, there's no electric hammer move in Pokemon, but we think just
We
like
got
Tinkaton,
Gigaton Hammer.
Zudomon's signature move could be Gigaton Hammer. And the line ends with Vikemon, an ice Viking that has a move called Mjolnir Hammer. Yeah, that's an electric ice type. And funnily enough, shares this
Clearly.
typing with another Rotom form, Frost Rotom. Nice. Let's give Vikemon Ice Body. That grants the Pokemon the ability to gradually regain HP in a hailstorm, which would be awesome if set up by its pre-evolution Zudomon. I guess in this
Okay.
hypothetical Digimon crossover, Digimon can evolve mid-Pokemon battle, which feels appropriate. I guess Vikemon is a Mega evolution after all. Its signature move should be a
Oh.
strong Ice-type move, so Glacial Lance feels pretty good, even though Vikemon doesn't have lances.
Palmon would
got
definitely
bases.
be our grass starter of the bunch, and as such is a
there
grass
we go.
type. Very straightforward.
Now the starters have been coupled.
But its ability will be
type
solar
plays.
power, which means in Sunshine its special attack is boosted, but HP decreases, and its signature move will be Vine Whip, which is in very much the same wheelhouse as Palmon's Poison Ivy. Digivolving to Togemon, I mean, it's obviously grass fighting, right? This might have been the easiest pick of the
Obviously.
entire video. Grass fighting type, absolutely. Giving it the ability Rough
I mean,
Skin,
for crying out loud, have you ever been punched by a cactus? I haven't.
which inflicts damage to the attacker on contact. Yep, that's what a cactus would do. And the signature move Needle Arm, need I say more? Digivolving from there, Togemon
No.
becomes Lilymon, I think a natural contender for the Grass Fairy type, and giving it the ability Fairy Aura, which raises the power of Fairy type moves for all Pokemon in battle, lends itself to Lilymon's more kind nature. And with the signature move Fleur Cannon, which is literally just Flower Cannon, couldn't be more perfect. And we end the line on Rosemon, also a Grass Fairy type, also with Fairy Aura, but instead we'll have the signature move Power Whip, which is a more powerful Vine Whip,
Okay,
just like
that
her
makes
rookie
sense.
stage Palmon. She
You
can
can
Power
Power
Whip
Whip
me.
me.
What's wrong with us?
Oh, so
Why would you guys
Rosemon
say
is too
that?
far, but thirsting after Arukenimon on Twitter is fine?
Wait, when the hell did he do that?
Yeah, that tracks. Okay,
Twiddle.
so Tentamon. Pretty obviously an electric bug type. And in fact,
Right,
that would be its
obviously.
entire line. Kabuterimon, Mega Kabuterimon, and Hercules Kabuterimon. All electric bugs. Tentamon's ability will be Swarm, that powers up bug type moves in a pinch, and its signature move would be Thundershock. Kabuterimon's ability will also be Swarm. We can't really give it Compound Eyes, so it'll deliver a Shockwave as a slightly more powerful
where are the
Thundershock.
eyes?
Mega Kabuterimon with its big horn.
No, hold on. Before you go on, where are the eyes? Are they behind this?
Gain the ability Lightning Rod, which draws in electric type moves to up its special attack. And despite that, we're gonna give it Mega Horn, which isn't an electric type move, but it's Mega Kabuterimon
So
in the
of course
dub.
it gets
And it
Mega
has a
Horn.
big horn. Plus, its signature move isn't its entire moveset, you know. It would also have some electric type moves. And finally is
Okay.
Hercules Kabuterimon. We'll give it the ability Electromorphosis, to double the power
Ooh.
of the next electric type move when it's hit by an attack, which will charge its signature move Bolt Strike. It does have
I
a
like
big horn, but it feels less noticeably big than Mega Kabuterimon's.
Well,
Yeah.
that's made some fetishists here.
I think I'm on some kind of list now.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Digidestined Feet is unfortunately in my search history.
God.
Anyway, Katamon is going to be a flying type too. It just makes the most sense. With the ability Levitate, giving it immunity to ground type moves, as Patamon spends a lot of time levitating. And the signature move is Sonic Boom because of Boom Bubble. Digivolving then to
Boom Bubble.
Angemon. There's no light type in Pokemon, so Brandon and I thought that perhaps Fairy is the closest to a light type, and that's why we're going to make all the angels Fairy types somewhat. And in this instance, Angemon is Fairy Flying. Its ability
That's
will be
fine.
Justified, which raises attack when hit by a dark type move, very appropriate for Angemon fighting Devimon, and
Also, the Japanese version of the name is actually better. Heart of Justice. And it would make sense, because the Angemons normally always say that they'll fight with no, they'll fight evil with all their heart or something like that.
And its signature move, Comet Punch, is a reference to Angemon's Heaven's Knuckle. When digivolving to Magna Angemon, Angemon gains more armor and a sword, so I think Steel Fairy would be appropriate. And giving it the ability Steel Worker would power up its newly found Steel-type moves, and I don't have any problem giving it Sacred Sword, and a move called Sacred Sword feels really good for an Angel Digimon. Finally, ending on Seraphimon, we're going to keep the Steel Fairy typing. Seraphimon feels very close to Magna Angemon conceptually, and we're going to give out an ability that has previously only been available to Victini, but if anyone deserves it, I think it's Seraphimon and someone else, and that is Victory Star, which boosts the accuracy of its allies and itself. And given Seraphimon and Magnadramon, TK Inkari, Patamon, and Gatomon, also intrinsically linked in Adventure, they have a whole prophecy, and even into 02 and beyond, I think Seraphimon having an ability which boosts in a double battle works really nicely. And Light of Ruin is a cool fairy type move, which yes, is the signature move of the Eternal Flower Floette, but it's never been released anyway, so why not give it to Seraphimon?
And every Angemon needs an Angelwomon.
Every Pokemon needs its Digimon.
Every collab, it's a segue.
Been a tough winter, huh?
You have no idea.
Oh,
Alright, to round us out,
Brandon.
the rookie Salamon will be normal type. It's just a little guy. It's a very cute Digimon, so
Very
Q
much
Charm,
is.
which can cause infatuation upon contact, seems like a good pull. And giving it the signature
Mad
move,
love
Howl,
Polly.
which is probably the closest to Salamon's actual Digimon move, Puppy Howl. Gatomon is a little tougher.
They
It
both have Howl in the name, so yeah.
enters Digimon Adventure as a sort of bad guy, and it feels similar to Team Rocket's Meowth in some ways, which is actually what
Meowth,
settled us
that's right.
on not making it the dark type, as Meowth and Persian are just normal types, and that Holy Ring definitely wouldn't work for a dark type anyway. Giving it the ability Kenai feels appropriate thematically, and that ability prevents other Pokemon from lowering its accuracy, which feels useful for Gatomon. And routing it out with the signature Feint attack works well. The move's dark type hints at Adventure Gatomon's bad side, and is close conceptually to her Neko Punch. Much like Angemon, we think Fairy
That's
type
not
is
bad.
probably the closest to a light type, so if there were an angelic Pokemon, they would definitely have the Fairy type. Or again in this instance, a Fairy flying type. A light with wings. Yep, that's definitely what an angel is. Angelwomon will have the ability Fairy
Not
Aura,
wrong,
which raises
really.
the power of Fairy type moves for all Pokemon in battle. Meaning if she was in a double battle on the same team as Angemon, they would both benefit from her ability. And she'd also dish out triple arrows. It is a fighting type move and not Fairy or flying, but it works pretty well as an allusion to Angelwomon's Holy Arrow. And the line will end on Magnadramon, which, given it becomes a Holy Dragon at this stage, has to be the Fairy
Fairy
Dragon
Dragon.
type, which you would
Yep.
share with Mega Altaria, which feels very fitting. This is a really defensively good type combination for Magnadramon, making it resistant to fighting, bug, fire, water, grass, electric, dark, and immune to dragon type. Its
Damn.
ability would be Victory
I like
Star,
it.
which boosts the accuracy of its allies and itself, which again thematically works connecting Magnadramon to Seraphimon and making her work better in double battles as TK and Kari's partners are so intrinsically linked. Don't say we never did nothing for you, TK and Kari shippers. And let's just give
That's
Magnadramon
fine.
a powerful fairy move. She's gonna have Moonblast, or if you prefer a dragon move, Draco Meteor.
And that's it, our thoughts on what Pokemon
I do like
typings,
dragons.
abilities, and signature moves the Digimon Adventure partners would have. This was something a little different in our PokeDigi wheelhouse, so if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below saying more PokeDigis, please. That will
Yeah, I
also
think
help me
I'll
know
leave
who
that.
stuck around to the end of the video, who the real ones are. Just so we know it's something you actually want to see. When a video does well, that cues us in, that lets us know that you want to see more of it, and then we can start planning to do Adventure 02, Tamers, and beyond. Also, make sure you go check out Brandon's channel, where they've got some artists to cook up. What was it again?
Oh, we've got some heat. If you like Biomerge Evolution from Digimon Tamers, we're doing that, but with Pokemon. This ain't
Oh,
like Ash
yeah.
Ninja or the Rebirth manga. This is a true merging of trainer and Pokemon.
No,
So yeah,
that's
please go
gonna be
check
good.
that out. Thank you to my sovereign patrons, ZDK14 and Jamon. Everyone else who supports me.
Well, everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.